Welcome back to the News at 10. Let's go now to our studio in Abuja, where Malkwe Ogunyusuf is standing by with more on the News at 10. Hi, Malkwe. Great to see you.
It's good to see you too, Amarachi. You're welcome to our studios in Abuja. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, and the Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank, Mr. Herbert Wigwe, are spearheading a coalition of private sector organizations to support the federal government's ongoing efforts to tackle the coronavirus menace sweeping across the country. The gesture is in addition to the 200 million naira earlier pledged by the Aliko Dangote Foundation to help curb its spread. The initiative, which is called the Coalition Against Coronavirus, or COCAVID, will involve the erection of fully equipped medical tents to house patients and serve as training, testing, isolation and treatment centers, with an additional facility also provided in Victoria Island, Lagos. The COCAVID, led by Dangote Industries Limited and Access Bank Group in collaboration with Zenith Bank, GT Bank, MTN, ITB and others, is tasked with the responsibility of mobilizing the private sector thought leadership and resources, creating public awareness, and directing support to private and public healthcare institutions. Meanwhile, help seems to be coming for Nigeria in the battle against COVID-19 as the prevention materials donated by Chinese billionaire Jack Ma to Africa has arrived in the country. The consignment for Nigeria was flown into the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, from Lagos this morning. According to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, there are 20,000 test kits to be distributed to the 5 laboratories in the country. And the Bauchi state government has received a boost in the fight against the coronavirus from the Nigeria Air Force Hospital with a donation of a ventilator to fight COVID-19. The machine was brought to the government house today and has since been transferred to the isolation center. So far, Bauchi state has only one confirmed case in the person of the governor, Bala Mohammed. And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back to you now, Amarachi.
Thank you, Malkwe. Here in Lagos, 4 domestic airlines in the country have suspended their operations in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, as the lack of foreign passenger traffic is impacting negatively on domestic travel numbers. This comes on the heels of the closure of the 5 international airports in the country.
Empty counters dot the landscape of the checking-in area of the international wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja. The airport is one of the 5 international terminals short of foreign traffic in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria.
Turkish Airlines was the last international airline that departed out of Abuja with 180 passengers plus 3 to his crew. And we thank God everything was successful. We shut down the international, and all attention now is at the domestic airport.
Here in Lagos, the commercial capital, the story is not different as shops, little businesses and airline counters are closed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. For now, it appears this closure is impacting on the domestic airline sector.
The local airlines are already struggling, and because they don't have the feed from the international carriers that bring in international passengers that we distribute around. And local travel has also reduced. Past a couple of weeks ago, we have seen a decline, a steady decline of passenger traffic to close to about 40, sometimes 50%.
Meanwhile, Dana Airline has announced that it will have its last flight tonight. Aero contractors will suspend operations on Thursday, March the 26th, while Arik Air and Air Peace will close temporarily midnight of Friday, March the 27th, 2020. Bukola Joe Kitumbi, Channels Television News.
And Wawodo has the day's major business stories.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Amarachi, and welcome to Business News. The federal government is proposing a review of the 2020 budget using a $30 barrel price benchmark as against the $57 initially passed in December 2019 by the National Assembly. The Finance Minister, Zainab Ahmed, during a meeting between the National Assembly and the executive, says the proposal is to prepare for the worst case as well as insulate the Nigerian economy against any form of unexpected crisis. She adds that the impact of the pandemic puts an increasing pressure on the naira and foreign reserves as the crude oil prices receipts declined and the country's microeconomic outlook has worsened. On Wednesday's trading closed flat. That's despite positive market breadth in 20 advancing sectors of the economy. Let's hear more from Layo Adegoke.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The stock exchange today commenced trading limits to remote transactions via electronic means in a bid to keep the market safe from COVID-19. At the end of trading, the key benchmark index closed flat despite a positive market breadth of 20 advances to 7 decliners. QTX, Cadbury and Nimet took the lead on the gainers chart, while Total PLC led the laggards list. On the sectoral front, all the major indices closed positive, with the exception of the oil and gas, which slid 1.10% due to the sell pressure on Total. Market activity settled 29% lower in volume of transactions to 233 million units at an estimated 2.23 billion naira in 3,874 deals. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Layo Adegoke.
Thanks a lot, Layo. Meanwhile, stocks jumped 17% in 2 days, and that's as the coronavirus stimulus deal was passed by Congress. Let's take a look at the closing figures for today. And that's Business News at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Amarachi.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, tennis legend Roger Federer donates over $1 million to vulnerable families in Switzerland as sports stars lend a hand to fighting the coronavirus pandemic. Plus, more from our London studios and around the world in 5. Stay with us.